Come down onto your back. And you can be still for a little bit or wiggle for a little bit. Just take a moment to get into your body. And we'll keep an ear out for Patricia. And if you are taking a little wiggle, start to settle that down and just land for a moment in a position that's comfortable. And that could be anything. If you'd like to close your eyes, you can do that here. And as you take the next couple of breaths, see if you can feel movement that happens from your breath. And notice where in your body that movement is happening right now. And keep paying attention to your breath. And for the next few rounds, on the exhales, start to lengthen the exhales and imagine you've got a drawstring around your waist and you're drawing all sides of your waist into the center. And then you might find a little pause at the end of the exhale. And then on the inhale, you'll let that go as the breath moves in. So take that a few more rounds. Nice, slow, long exhale with a contraction through the all around your waist. And as you're taking this a couple more times, you might notice a little bit of a different sort of movement than was happening before. And there's not a right or a wrong where to move, how to move. It's really just to notice. And then let's let that effort go. If your legs are long on the floor, bend up your knees. You can bring them in towards your chest, give yourself a little movement, maybe turn your head from side to side. And then let's pause here. Keep your shins hovering away from the floor so you're in like an upside down tabletop position. And take your hands to your thighs close to the knees. Let's breathe in. And as you exhale, find the contraction through the abdomen as well as press your hands and legs into each other. Yeah. And then on the inhale, just back off of the effort somewhat. So take that. We'll just do a few more like that. Yeah. Great. And then after the next one, keep some tone through your abdomen, but not max capacity. And then a few choices here for your arms. You could take them right in front of your chest, or you could take them back down to the floor, or you could go wide, kind of like you're holding a big beach ball. Let's take your right leg with the knee still bent, come forward and down with the right leg. And you may or may not touch the floor. And then the left side down and up. Yeah. Take that a couple more times. And if you want to coordinate breath and movement, for me, I like to lower on the exhale and inhale on the way up, but you might find that it makes sense to do the opposite. Take what works. And as we're moving along like this, see if you can do the movement maintaining stability through your lower spine and the pelvis. Some of us may have a little bit of a lumbar curve. Some of us may feel flatter in that area, but see if you can keep it the same the whole time as you're going back and forth. Yeah. And the next time we come back up, you can either hover like that or take a break for a second. We'll do one more variation. So return to your tabletop position with the hands on the thighs, and then put your right hand on top of your left hand so both hands are on the left side. And now on the right side, we'll do that down and up that we just did. But because we're finding this pressure here, you might find that it's a little bit more work. Yeah, or a lot more work. And if it's too much work for the moment, you can go back and do the other one again. Yeah. You might also find that the leg doesn't go as low when we're finding the pressure, and that's fine if that's the case for you. Yeah. Let's change and do the other side. So both hands on the right side, keep the pressure, and then down and up on the left. Just like the other one, see if you can stay really stable through your lower spine, the pelvis. All right. Nice work, you guys. Yeah, you're good. And then come back to center, bend the knees a little more, just relax and take a little side to side. Yeah. All right, now from here, hopefully your strap is handy. And if not, you can just go without a strap here. Let's put the strap over your right foot and take just a little bit of time for yourself for any kind of leg stretching on the right side. That might be a bend and straighten. You could go back and forth. You could take some circles. Great. And then do the same thing on the left side. So just a little bit of wiggles, whatever your body intuitively is asking for here. They're sure making a lot of noise out there in the hall today. Yeah. It is. It's a big operation. They've got a lot going on, and they've been doing it for a while, so they have their process down. Yeah. Looks like it's very smooth. All right, so let's go back to side one, and I'll be more specific this time. So have the right leg up and have the left knee bent with the foot on the floor. And let's also bend your right knee, but just a little bit. And then as we go straighter in the right leg, a few things. First, without straightening the knee, put your foot up into the strap, and also think about pressing the thigh bone down more into the pelvis. Firm your quad muscles on the right leg, and then very slowly, with resistance, you'll start to go straighter in the leg. Yeah. Let's do that one more time, and we'll add a small element. So bend the knees slightly. And now this one's kind of weird, but think about pressing your right thigh bone away from the midline slightly. You're not going to take the leg out. It's just a tiny bit. And then again, push the foot into the strap, the thigh bone down into the pelvis, firm your quads as you lengthen the leg. Let's do it one more time. And then from the lengthened state, stay. Create the same tone in your abdomen that you just did in those other poses. And now let's stretch your left leg long on the floor. Press out forward through your heel. Good. Now from here, back off some of the effort in your hands. If your strap will allow, start to slide your hands down the strap so you have a little more slack, and bring your arms towards overhead position. Yeah. Then from here, just like we did a moment ago, bend your right knee slightly. And now that our arms are in this position, when you press the foot into the strap, you kind of almost press the leg away from you. Firm the quads and re-lengthen your leg, and keep this tone now. So we're stretching the back of the leg, but we're also working the back of the leg because we're pressing it forward. Yeah. It's exciting, isn't it? Oh, nice. Now, later in our class, we'll be flipped over and doing a pose called Parsvottanasana. If you imagine standing on your feet and your torso over the front leg, we're basically there. All right, so let's bend the knee, come out of the shape, and just pause for a second with both legs long on the floor.
That felt great.
Okay, good. Awesome. So we're going to kind of combine all of these little things here as we end up eventually in that other pose. So let's do the second side. Put your left leg up with and have the right knee bent at first. And then all of these little pieces we'll start with. So with the knee still bent, press your foot into the strap, press your thigh bone down towards the pelvis, firm your quads, and then very slowly With resistance, you'll go straighter in the leg. Yeah. It's also okay if it doesn't go completely straight. And let's go again. Bend your knee a little bit. Press the thigh out slightly away from the midline. And then again, press your foot into the strap, the thigh bone down towards the pelvis. Yeah, good. Let's stay like that. And now on the right leg, reach the heel out as you lengthen the right leg. Yeah, like you're standing on it. Make it a strong, active right leg. And then let's readjust your hands. Start to slide them towards your head. That's it. And then once you're in position, one more time, take a teensy bend in the left knee. Press your foot into the strap away from your head to tone the back of the leg. And then also engage your quads. It's a co-contraction there. Slowly start to re-lengthen, continuing to press the foot into the strap and the thigh bone down towards the pelvis. Yeah. You know, when we do this pose, I don't usually take the arms back like this, but I find it's quite nice. Yeah. All right, and then that's enough. Let's back off. Rebend your knee, put the strap aside. Let's do another Supta Tadasana. So lengthen both legs here and make the legs feet active. Reach out through your heels. Create the same tone in your abdomen that we've been working on. Bring your arms right in front of your chest. And very slowly start to bring the arms back without popping your ribs up, which might mean they don't go back all the way, and that's fine. Yeah. Right. And then lower your arms down beside you. Relax your legs. Bend your knees, bring your feet to the floor. And then take your feet a little bit wider apart and just in a lazy way start to make some windshield wipers. And allow your spine, your head, whatever wants to move here, just let it happen. Good. All right. And then from here, let's come back to center. Bring both knees once again in towards your chest. Give yourself that little squeeze. Maybe take a little rock. And when you're ready, we'll turn over, meeting in the all fours position. I just want to stay down here, but. Alrighty. So just like we did a wiggle on your back, let's take a wiggle here. So any kind of movement in your spine, hips, elbows, it's from the all fours starting position. Take anything that appeals to you. Yeah. And then let's take a little pause. Go back to child's pose and go onto your fingertips for a moment. Give your mat a little scrunch action to relieve some of the pressure in your wrists. And then we'll reset the hands. Come back down, return to your all fours position, and take your right leg back with the toes tucked under. Just give yourself a little bit of motion here, back and forth. And then let's pause with the leg back. Take your hands a teensy bit forward and your left knee also a teensy bit forward. Broaden your collarbones, lift a little through your low belly. And now we're aiming to keep the spine and the pelvis fairly neutral here as opposed to rounding. Let's take a breath in. On the exhale, press the left toenails into the floor, hover the left knee. It's a tiny lift, but it's a fair amount of effort. Yeah, and then inhale, put it down. Do that a couple more times. Exhale, find tone in the abdomen, press into the top of the foot, hover the knee. Inhale, set it down. And go one more time. Good. And then set it down. Take the other knee down. Let's go straight into side two here. Left leg back with a little bit of motion at first. And then pause. Broaden your collarbones. Tone your abdomen. Breathe in. Exhale, press into the right top of the foot. Hover the right knee just barely off the mat. Inhale, return to center. Yeah, do that 2 more times. Less is more in terms of movement here. It's a lot harder than it would be if we were to round. Great, and then after this last one, we'll take a little rest, put both knees down, go back again to child's pose. This time, turn your palms to face up and just move a little through your wrist, your fingers. You can give your hips a wiggle. Yeah. All right. Now, in a moment, we'll head into all fours again for cat-cow. And this time we roll around the back. So return to your center. Take a breath in. And before you move into see if you can find that tone in the abdomen. And then round the back, drop your head, drop your tailbone. You can pause on empty breath. And then on the inhale, instead of going all the way down to cow, just come back to more or less neutral. Let's do a couple more of those. So use the exhale first to tone the abdomen and then to initiate that rounding. Good. As you're going along, you might find for this variation that the exhales take longer than the inhales. That might happen. Good. All right. And then after this last one, we'll come back to center. Hands a little break. Let's come down onto your abdomen. Stretch your legs back and down. And then set up yourself on the forearms with the elbows just a little ahead of your shoulders and the hands stacked. Yeah. Allow your chest to move towards the floor for a moment. And now on the inhales, don't move your arms, but pull back, creating a little traction action as you lengthen through the front and lift. And then exhale back off. So do that one a few more times. Yeah. Nice. All right, after this next one, let's come back down, refold your hands, bend your knees, swish the legs from side to side. Now in a moment, we'll head to down dog. And when we get there, we'll just wiggle around for a second and then I'll be more specific with our leg actions. So let's lower the legs, press yourself back and up into down dog and just give yourself a little bit of time for whatever you need here. First down dog is a lot of times like the first pancake. Yeah. All right, everybody. So let's pause here. Stay in the pose, but bend your knees. And without moving your hands, push the mat down and forward as you send the hips back. Then at first, press down a little more through the ball of the big toe. Keep that as you widen the upper thighs apart, away from the midline. Keep that. Firm your quad muscles. And in slow motion, as you go straighter in the legs, try to reach your heels back in space. It's fine if the legs don't go completely straight, especially this first one. Yeah, good. All right. And then to get out of this, let's rebend your knees, step your feet a little wider apart. Walk your arms back to your legs and prop up so that your forearms are just on the thighs here. Give your wrists some circles. Give your hips a little movement. Yeah. And then when you're ready, pause and shift back. Root down through your heels. Inhale, come up, lift your arms. Release your arms. Yeah, Carol, that's such a great idea. So just give yourself now a little wiggle time standing up, and that could be anything. You could do giant movements, small movements, slithery movements. Yeah. Good. All right. And then let's pause. And remember that breath work we were doing on the exhales, that kind of tone all around the waist. So let's actually do this. Stand in mountain pose and take your hands to the side lower ribs. Take a regular breath in. And then on the exhale, slow motion exhale, draw all sides of the waist in towards the center, and you might feel a slight shift back. Yeah, let's do that again, just at your own pace. Nice. And then on the next inhale, take your arms up overhead. Find it again here with the arms lifted. Exhale, hugging in. Great. All right, and then release your arms. Nice job. Let's go to the back of the mat. You might already be there. Stand in your Tadasana pose with the feet about hips width distance. Inhale, lift your arms. Exhale, forward fold. Let's bend the knees on the way down and put your hands to your shins. Inhale, slide your chest forward, lengthen your legs. Exhale, come down, bend the knees. Do that one more time, the half lift. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come down, walk your hands forward. We'll go to plank pose. Take whatever time you need to get there. Feel free to put your knees down. And now let's broaden the collarbones. Breathe in. On the exhale, find that same little tone. All sides of the waist hug in. You might feel a slight lift. Inhale to let it go somewhat. And then find it one more time on the exhale. Yeah. And then put your knees down. Let's come all the way down to your belly. Keep your hands in position. Lift the front of your shoulders away from the floor. And on the inhale, without moving your hands, pull them back as you move your chest forward and come up any amount. Think more forward than up, and then lower down. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, we lengthen. And exhale, we lower. Good. One more. And down. And then this next one, let's use Cobra to shift back to down dog. Take your time to get to the position. Once you do, just like before, we'll bend the knees, press down more the ball of the big toe, and keep that as you widen the upper thighs. Firm your quads just above your kneecaps and slowly stretch your legs straighter, reaching back through your heels as you do. Good. And then from here, yogis, let's come to the front of your mat. Bring your feet to your hands. Take one half lift. Lower down, bend your knees, press into your heels. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, release your arms. Great. So if you like to have blocks for lunges, go get them put them at the front of your mat. I didn't mean to throw that. Also, if you like to have padding for your knee for lunges, feel free to set up a blanket. Right. So we'll start the same way we did before. Let's inhale, lift your arms. Keep them there for the exhale and find that tone all around. Yeah. Inhale, find a little length. And then on the exhale, find the tone as you forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward. On the exhale, come down. We'll step the right knee back and lower the knee down to the floor. You can keep the toes tucked under or be flat. That's up to you. Now on your next inhale, slide your chest forward. Lift the chest, lift your head a little bit. On the exhale, shift back, go any amount straighter in your front leg. So take that a couple times more, at first with some movement. Now there's the obvious movement going on in the legs. There's a little more subtle movement going on in the spine. Every time you come forward, it's almost like that cat-cow. Find the cow on the way up, a little bit of cat on the way down. Great. All right, guys, next time we're in the forward position with the bent knee, pause. We'll shift back, go about halfway back, and then before we go the rest of the way, can you engage the left quads? It's a little awkward in this position. And then this one's also a little awkward. Try to push your left foot forward at the heel as you lengthen the leg. So we create some tone as we lengthen. It's called an eccentric muscle contraction. Pause there, and like we did in Supta Padangusthasana, can you widen the left thigh bone a little bit out to the left? Now, can you move your chest forward? Oh, yeah, great. Yeah, also a little bit of a strange request for this variation. Let's externally rotate your left leg, not a lot, just a little bit. And then walk your arms to the left. Some of you will go all the way outside of the leg. Some of you will not go that far. It's up to you. Now you're kind of in this diagonal position. Can you move the pelvis and the rib cage away from each other? Create a little more space. Good. All right, friends, let's back that one off. Come to center. Rebend your front knee. Lift your back knee and thigh. Let's stay in this position. And now on your back leg, lift a little more through the inner thigh. Move your pelvis back, move your chest forward without moving your hands. Pull back and see if you can find a little bit of the work in the upper back when you do that. Yeah, you can stay right here or maybe lighten up your hands or maybe stretch the arms back just for a moment. Oh, look, Mom, no hands. I love I can say that because my mom's here. All right, put your hands down. Let's go to down dog just for a second. Yeah. All right. And then come to the front of your mat, both feet forward. Take one halfway lift from there. On the way down, step your left leg back, lowering the knee once you get there. Yeah, let's take a couple rounds here with the dynamic movement. Inhale, slide forward and up. Exhale, shift back. And take that just at your own pace a couple of times more. In addition to the movement in the legs, can you find some movement in your spine? All right, guys, let's pause. Next time you're forward, go about halfway back. And now can you engage the right quads? Push your right heel forward and draw your right hip back as you start to go straighter in your leg, and you can walk the arms back if necessary. Then from here, move your chest forward away from the pelvis. So far, so good. We'll add on a very small amount. Externally rotate your right leg. And then if you wish, you can walk the arms towards the right. You can go a little bit or all the way outside of the right leg. Then once you're in position here, move your pelvis and rib cage away from each other. Make sure you're still breathing in the position. And I'm curious if you guys find dramatically different results on side one versus side two. Yeah, this is my tighter side by a lot. All right, let's back off. Back to center. Rebend your front knee. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee and thigh, especially the inner thigh, and move your pelvis back and your chest forward. Maybe that's enough. Maybe you pull back on the arms. Maybe you stretch the arms back, keeping some work now in the upper back. Yeah. All right, let's come back to down dog. And then we'll add in a little element once you're there. So within down dog, let's bring your feet a tiny bit forward and closer together. So it's a short, narrow dog. And then go as straight as you can go on the right leg and press your heel towards the floor as you bend the left knee. And this is meant to be a calf stretch. Yeah, you can add on to it by shifting your hips back and forth if you wish. Awesome. Let's bend your right knee, press your left heel towards the floor, and then maybe add in that little side to side. Okay, and then come back to center. Let's come down onto your abdomen for a moment. Stretch your legs back and down, and then just a simple quad stretch. You bend your right knee and hold on to the foot. And as you're in the position, lift your belly, and at the same time, stretch your right thigh back. Yeah. All right, and then change. Bend your left knee. Stretch the left thigh back as you lift your abdomen. Tight quads. Yeah. It's so funny. I do this pretty much every class. And then over the summer I took a 3-week break and I hardly did any yoga and I just didn't do this at all. My quads were so tight after when that first class back. It was incredible. We kind of, if we do something all the time, we take it for granted. All right, release. Just give yourself a little wiggle. Yeah. And then go back to downward dog one more time and see if you can remember some of those actions we did before. I'm not going to say the whole pattern here, but I will in the next pose. All right. When you're ready, let's come to forward fold. Any transition is fine. Bend your knees a little, press into your heels. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, lower your arms. Yeah. All right. I think let's take another little wiggle here, whatever you want. Yeah. Good. Okay. So next we'll start with Warrior One and we'll take it into a variation of Parsvottanasana and then we'll do a deeper one afterwards. So let's set up your blocks at the front. Start standing and just bring your hands to your hips and step your right leg back with the heel down on the floor and take as big of a step as is comfortable. And on your back leg, press down and back through the heel. Do that and then lift your rib cage away from the pelvis. Start to bend your front knee. Yeah. Now let's slide your hands up to the lower ribs and use your hands to assist that lift up away from the pelvis and steer. Turn your right chest forward and the left chest back. Keep the lift up, but at the same time, think of settling your pelvis down to make more space. Let's let go. Take your arms forward and up. Yeah. Variation on Vera 1. All right. Let's keep your front knee bent. Hinge forward to come down, landing your hands. And now you might remember Supta Padangusthasana here. Press your front foot down and forward, firm your quads, and draw back through the left thigh as you go straighter in the left leg. It's okay if it doesn't go all the way straight. We'll go one more time, maybe a couple more times. And before you straighten the leg again, also think of widening your left thigh to the left, which again is a little strange. Push the heel forward, draw the hip back, firm your quads as you lengthen. Yeah. All right, now let's stay here. Your version of straight. Don't move your arms, but pull back until you feel the chest moving forward and you might feel a little work in the upper back. You'll likely feel a big stretch in the left hamstring. Yeah. Now remember your abdominal work we did before. Let's breathe in. On the exhale, find that lift through the abdomen. If it's appropriate, you can bend your elbows wide and start descending over the left leg. If that's not appropriate, you stay with the chest forward. Let's stay for another breath or two here in the position. And then we'll reverse the order here. Let's go up a little higher in the hands. Move your chest forward, bend your front knee, lift your back heel. Step your back leg forward, root down to rise up. Inhale. And exhale, release your arms. Okay, so that was side one, round one. Let's do the other leg. Step your left leg back with the heel down. Once you're there on the back leg, press down and back through your heel. Lift your rib cage away from the pelvis. Start to bend your front knee. That's it. And then slide your hands up a little higher and pick up the ribs. Steer your left ribs forward, the right ribs back, and then settle your pelvis down away from the rib cage. Let's let go. Take your arms forward and up. Use this up again to move the ribs away from the pelvis. Good. All right, keep your front knee bent. Let's hinge forward and down at first, landing your hands. And then we'll go a few times. You push the heel forward, draw the right thigh bone back, firm the right quads as you slowly go straighter in the right leg. That's it. Bend the knee again. And then this time add in that little press of the thigh out towards the right. Push the heel down and forward, draw the thigh back, firm your quads, lengthen. Let's stay here. Don't move your hands, but pull back until you feel the chest moving forward and maybe a little work in the upper back. Breathe in. On the exhale, lift up through the abdomen. Yeah, come forward as you come down if that's appropriate. Maybe lowering the blocks, maybe widening your elbows. And then we'll stay for a few breaths more. One of the translations of this pose is intense stretch on one side. I think that's accurate. All right, let's reverse the order. Go back, straight arms with the chest forward. Rebend your front knee, lift your back heel. Step your back leg forward. Root down to rise up. Inhale. And exhale over your arms. Okay. Now, before we do that again, a little deeper on the next round, we'll take this kind of a slow transition from Ardha Uttanasana, the half lift, into full Uttanasana. And we've already done a few in our class, but this next round we'll move a little
slowly with more detail. So let's start with the blocks on the highest height. If you're pretty tight in the hamstrings, you can make a little block tower and go higher if necessary, but those, I think for most of us, this is an appropriate height. Come down with your hands on the blocks, bend your knees a little bit, and like we've been doing, press down through the ball of the big toe, widen your upper thighs. Firm your quads and very slowly go straighter in the legs. And as you do, think of lifting the thigh bones up, almost like you want to pick them up off the knees. Yeah, and then go onto your fingertips, even if you're on the blocks here. Move your chest forward. That's it. And then from here, bend your knees slightly. Let's lower the blocks a notch. And then one more time, press down the ball of the big toe, widen the upper thighs, firm your quads. As you lengthen the legs, try to pick the thigh bones up off the knees. That's not literally happening. And then let's go into your fingertips, slide your chest forward, or it's kind of diagonal forward. This might be an appropriate place to stay, or bend the knees a little, lower the blocks one more notch, or maybe get rid of them if that's a good choice for you. Before we do the upper body, press down the ball of the big toe, widen the upper thighs, firm your quads, lengthen the legs, lifting your thigh bones up. Pull your chest forward, diagonal movement. Now on the next exhale, lift the abdomen, widen your elbows, fold down if that's appropriate for you. And at any point, if you need to readjust your props, your arm situation, go ahead and do. So even though we're down, can you still keep that lift up of the thighs? Yeah. Good. All right, let's get out kind of in reverse order. Re-lengthen your arms. Come back any height of blocks. Bend your knees a little. Tone your abdomen. Let's bring hands to the hips and hinge our way up to center. Okay. So we'll go back into our Warrior One Parsvottanasana with a little add-on at the end of the process. So just have your blocks handy. Start at the front, hands on your hips, step the right leg back with the heel down. Press down and back through your heel. Lift the rib cage away from the pelvis, bend your front knee, and let's pick up the ribs. Steer right side forward, left side back. Lower your pelvis, take your arms forward and up. Inhale here at the top. Exhale, come forward at first with your front knee bent, land your hands. And then here, widen the left thigh, press down actually more in the heel on this one, and start to draw back through the left hip as you lengthen the leg. Yeah. Now from here, on the inhale, pull the arms back on the blocks or on the floor, move your chest forward. And then on the exhale, just back off a little bit. Yeah, do that one more time. Now, if it's appropriate for you, walk the blocks forward so they're just kind of in front of the front foot. One more time, let's find that pull back, move your chest forward. This is inhale. On the exhale, lift your abdomen, widen your elbows. If you're down there and it feels okay, to add on, now instead of doing the pull, you'll do a little push down and forward in the blocks. Yeah, good. If any of this feels too much, go back a notch. Maybe bring the blocks back. Maybe don't forward fold. Stick with the chest forward variation. Good. All right, and then let's reverse the order. Walk the arms back. Rebend the front knee. Move your chest forward. Lift your back heel. Step the back leg forward. Inhale, come up, lift. Exhale, release your arms. Okay, last leg. Step your left leg back, heel on the floor. Push down and back. Lift your rib cage. And then bend your front knee. Slide your hands up and pick up your ribs. Steer left side forward, right side back. Lower your pelvis. Move your arms forward and up. Inhale. Exhale, forward and down. Keep the front knee bent at first. Then press down through the front heel. Widen the upper thigh. Draw back through the right hip as you start to go straighter in the right leg. Yeah. And then from here with your hands, we're in the line with the front foot. Inhale, pull your chest forward, pull the arms back. And on the exhale, just back off a little. Yeah. Do that one again. Good. Now, if it's a good idea, walk the arms forward with the blocks if you're on them. And on the next inhale, again, do the pull. Now on the exhale, lift the abdomen and fold over the leg. Yeah, widen your elbows. Once you're down there, if you want to add on, do a little push down and forward with your hands. If that's too much, don't do it. All right, yogi. When you're ready to come out, let's reverse the order. Reset, pull the arms back a little, bend your front knee, lift the back heel. Step your back leg forward. Root down to rise up. Inhale, lift. Let's take hands to heart center. Just pause for a moment. You can keep your eyes open or closed. Feel the movement in your body as you breathe. Feel your legs and the feet, the way they meet the floor. Yeah, lower your chin a little, blink your eyes open. Let's release your arms. Okay. So let's come down into a seated cross-legged position, and I'll suggest Sukhasana, which is with the cross right at the middle of the shins. If anybody needs to elevate here, you can sit on a blanket or two. Let's have the blocks in front just at first. And some of the same actions we've been working on, we'll do again here. So at first, let's place the hands just beside you. Before we do anything, lift your pelvis, scooch it back a smidge, and then come down. So you're ever so slightly tilted anteriorly. Yeah. Press into the floor, sit up tall. And now at first, keep your chest moving forward and up, and keep your hands back for a second as you lengthen forward. Yeah. All right. Then let's take the arms forward. Go onto the blocks at first. On the inhale, pull the blocks back, move the chest forward like we did in the other poses. And then on the exhale, if it's appropriate, lift your abdomen, maybe go out a little further. If you don't want to be on the blocks, you can get rid of them. If you like them, you can keep them. We'll stay for a few more moments. And even though we're in a seated forward fold here, let's keep a little activity through the legs. Press out through your heels and just slightly press down the pinky sides of your feet. Oh, yeah. Good. Imagine that the outer hips each had a set of gills and they could breathe. And then from here, let's walk the arms back. Notice which leg is in front. Take both legs forward, just give them a little shakety shake, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Yeah. And then we'll put the other leg in front. And then same thing, lift, scooch back a smidge and come down. This is likely your second favorite leg cross. And then start with the hands down beside you. Push down as you lift up. And then push back as you hinge forward, but think more forward and up than down. Yeah, good. And if you're adding on, let's start with the blocks as you bring them forward. Just like we did in the other poses, inhale, find the pull back. And on the exhale, lift the abdomen and start to fold more. You choose if you're keeping the blocks or ditching the blocks.
Ready to come out. Start to bring your arms back, come upright. Yeah. All right, guys, take your legs out in front, and again, just to give them a little shakety shake, shake. Good. So the past couple of poses we've done all had a fair amount of hip flexion, yeah? And that's just how it goes with forward folds. But let's take a little supported bridge just as a counter pose here. We'll put a block under the pelvis. I'm gonna shut off some of the lights here. Yeah. Now, if you wanted to go higher, you could. I'm personally just gonna go the lowest height. Yeah. And send your attention now into the front of your hips. Allow your pelvis to just settle into the block or whatever support you've got. Yeah, they're having a good time out there, as they should. I don't know if you guys can hear that on Zoom. They're just yelling. I have a few choices. If you're just enjoying this position, please stay. If you want to come into a mild inversion, bring one knee more into the chest and then the other. You could stay like this or take the legs up. And I'll suggest if you take the legs up, we've been doing a lot of leg work. See if you can actually just let the legs relax. Have a little bend in the knees, no work in the feet or the toes. Yeah. All right, good. When you're ready, let's bend your knees and let one foot come to the floor and then the other. If you're on the block here, lift your hips. Let's remove the block, put it aside. Yeah. And then take a moment, yogi's choice. Maybe you want to do a couple windshield wipers. Maybe take a little twist. We're nearing the end here. Yeah. And then if you're already in Shavasana, stay. If you're not there yet, let's pause with your knees bent. Walk your feet in a little and just press your hands straight ahead into the tops of the thighs, right at the hip crease. Yeah, make a little space there. And then back off of that, and we'll start to move into Shavasana here. Corpse pose, final resting shape. And as you continue to settle in, imagine the entire back of your body widening to just take up a little more space. And imagine the front of your body could drop into that space. And relax your eyes, your face, your throat, your chest, your belly. Take your attention back to your body. Just notice again the rise and fall of your breath, movement that happens here. Whenever it feels right, you can add in some movement elsewhere. Hands, feet. So maybe you turn your head from side to side. Eventually, you can bend your knees. And gently, gently roll over to one side. Take your time to come upright any way that you'd like to sit. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.